Hello folks, great to see you again. Welcome to another episode of Stoner Frank and Free by Stoner TV, produced by Nuviso TV, coming to you from Leipzig, Germany. And today we have something really special that we want to talk about. As a matter of fact, for me, for myself, this is the most important issue that I have to present. And I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff that I'm talking about, but for me, out of my eyes, this is the stuff that is the most important in my life, which was the biggest source of inspiration that I ever got. So I guess I can say what I'm talking about today is I talk about my guru. Now you might be laughing because how can I have a guru? You know, I'm always teaching something like no teacher, no guru, no method. Being a free spirit, free flowing. So how can I have a guru? Well, I can, but it's not a human being. It's a piece of nature. It's a mountain, actually. It's a mountain in South India. And this is what I'm going to talk to you today. Now, the advantage, if you have a connection to a spiritual place, to a piece of nature, is that you don't get any rules from there. You know, it's just a direct contact. And there's many powerful places on Earth and in all continents, in all countries you can find some. As a matter of fact, here in Europe, we've got many of those old places of cultural relevance, of a certain spiritual quality, energetic quality, you name it, lots of them. And I was traveling in many countries in my life, and I visited many amazing places in Europe, in America, in wherever I've been. This was always part of my interest. So I guess I made some experiences with power places, with special pieces of nature, of culture, of tradition. And so I made my experience. But this, what I'm going to tell you today, is it's the place of places. It's the PowerPoint, the most amazing, powerful place that I've ever seen in my life, that I've ever visited. And it's a mountain. It's a mountain in South India, and it's called Arunachala. Arunachala in Sanskrit, Annamalai in Tamil. Tamil, which is also a very old language. It's in South India, in the state of Tamil Nadu. That's where you can find this mountain. And first, just to take you there, I've got a little map here. This is India, already the south of India. And you might have heard of these two big cities. This is Chennai, formerly known as Madras. The Old English called it Madras. And then you have the city Bangalore, which is also a very well-known modern IT computer city. And it's right in between a little bit to the south. This is the place. The town there, the city there, is called Tiruvannamalai, which means it's a Tamil. Tiru is the temple of Annamalai. Annamalai is the Tamil name of Arunachala, of the mountain. So this is where it's located. And maybe I'm going to start this little journey to Arunachala if I just tell you how I got there at the first place. Well, when I was it was in my 20s, I was a student at university, and I came in my life sort of to a field where there was a point that I had to change something in my life. It was for me obvious that if I follow this way, that is the obvious way for me. I mean, keep on going at my university and maybe becoming then a teacher of some sort. I just didn't feel didn't feel right anymore. There were so many doubts in myself. There were so many questions coming up, deep questions about deep questions of life. What was the sense of life? Why is all this stuff going on? And why is also in me there's so much information popping up? And I realized so many things. And my fellow students, and they were not engaged in this stuff. You know. Simply said, it's this point of awakening, and it can give you a hard time. You feel quite lonesome. Yeah? So I was at this point in my life, and it got so far that I couldn't keep on doing my studies anymore. I I couldn't do anything anymore. And I was really at this brink of, I'm no more interested in any of this, of this monkey business. All I wanted to know is what is really the true sense of life. What is it all about? You know, these basic questions. And these questions, they were like a load on me. They were heavy. I mean, they were... that was what was driving me. I didn't have any other interest. And coming to that point, that these questions were such a heavy burden, I saw only one way that I could go. And that was deeply in my heart. And I knew that it will be a one-way ticket for me to India. I have to let go of everything. Yeah. So I was at that situation at this time of my life that I wanted to know the answers. I let go of everything. I finished off everything that I had here in Germany, jobs, insurances, all that stuff. For me, I was only looking forward, and it was, to use a metaphor, it was like I'm gonna jump in this river of life, and either it will keep me floating, and then I will understand what this is about, or I will drown. And if I would drown, I wouldn't worry, because I was no more interested in any of this mundane success and stuff. I wanted to know what's going on. So that was my point. And I also have to tell you, in my 20s and in my time of my studies, I was doing lots of travelings in all kinds of parts of the world, but I never got to India before. And why was that? Because I had something in my heart told me, and I knew this already as a teenager, I already knew that. There was something inside me that said, you will go to India one day, and it will change your life. But this will not be just a holiday trip, a couple of weeks, you know, having a good time, or just vacation, and it will be a longer period. It will be not a vacation, but it will be a way of living, a lifestyle in India. And that was exactly that. So in my entire 20s, when I was traveling, I never went to India, because I knew for India, it will come at the right time. And then I will have time, and not only 1 month and then hurry and you have to go back. So I will come to India and just let go, and see where it's going to lead me. And so I reached that point when I was 29 years old. And at that time, I got to know a woman, which is still the woman of my life. I'm still living together with her. And I was just coming from a journey to South America. She was coming from India, and we met. And first sight, it was obvious, hey, we have something to do with each other. I mean, this is interesting. And so that's where we got to know each other. And she just came. She was so young. She was only 21 years, and she was alone. Traveling alone for half a year in India, and she was just coming home from India and was in Germany for 2 or 3 days. She was still in this kind of culture shock, you know, kind of floating. And I still remember when I saw her at university. I mean, wow, what's going on with that girl? I knew all, because I was already experienced traveler. I knew, oh wow. She just doesn't fit in here right now. So I talked to her, and yeah, and then she told me these stories about this mountain in South India, and I know the stuff that I'm going to tell you today, and what she told me, it may sound absurd, and maybe some things don't really fit in our modern rationalistic Western worldview. But hey, I was already traveling the world so much that I was no more hanging in this Western worldview. Exactly, that is what was driving me out of this system of university and school, because you just discover, hey, there's so much more in life and on this earth than they teach you at some university. Yeah? So I was already used to that, and when she told me about the mountain, I felt in my heart, yeah, she's right. This is no bullshitting. This is no dreaming or some fantasy. This has some inner truth with it. I could feel it, and it's something my heart was really resonating. And I was exactly at this point in my life that I had these great questions and philosophical questions, and you know, and I already felt India calling, and then I met her, and she gave me this information. So for me, it was clear. Okay, this is a place where I have to go. And then we traveled together. We are together ever since, still are. And so we made this journey together. We left everything. We let go, and it was one-way ticket towards India. Yeah. What can I say? The first glimpse I got to the mountain, I was nearly disappointed. I thought, this is the mountain? At first glimpse is nothing special. You know, I mean, I've seen many places on Earth and many mountains that are much bigger. This is not really a high mountain. I mean, probably in English we would rather call it a hill. This is maybe only, it's in South India, so it starts from the sea height, and it's maybe only 900 or 1,000 meters or something. This is not a big mountain. You know, especially in India, you've got the Himalayas, or in South America, you've got these great rocks. Even the Alps, you've got amazing mountains. This is not so big. It's also not that spectacular rock formation that at first glimpse you see something very special in nature. I mean, this is, at first glimpse, it's one of dozens or hundreds of, mountains that you have in South India. But that was only first glimpse. But I was at this point that really I trusted my lady, and I trusted my life. That's exactly the mission I was on. I let go. I don't argue anymore these things. I just let things happen and see if I can finally get some answers on these questions that I have. And I don't look it out anymore in school. I just wanna see if it's coming in life. So at that point I got there. I was open to the mountain. I was totally open. And the first night that I spent there, and there were so many more nights to come. As a matter of fact, if I added up, I spent, I guess, if I added up all the time, it comes to about a year that I spent at this place. So at the first night, I sort of spoke to the mountain. I know it sounds absurd, but why not? I mean, you can speak out. It's like a prayer. I spoke out and said, okay, if there's something going on, then please show me. I'm ready. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to. Well, I realized that I didn't find the answers in schools, in books, in whatever I was studying. I'm willing to learn. If there's something, then please show me. I'm ready, and I want to know. But please let me know if it's just a waste of time. That's what I was sending out. That was my attitude when I came to the mountain. And the very next day, I got one of the biggest lessons in my entire Indian journeys. And boy, I got so many big lessons there. But on the very first day, I got a big lesson there. At the foot of this mountain, or of course, this is a traditional place, a traditional holy site. Within India, this is quite big. There's many gurus, holy men living at this place, having ashrams, which are like Hindu monasteries, yoga schools, and all that stuff. So there's also the ashram of one of the most famous holy men of the 20th century, one of the great mystics of India. And India always produces these inspiring souls. So one of the great mystics of the 19th century was Ramana Maharishi. And his ashram is also right there at the foot. It's a major pilgrimage place. And I also heard of Ramana before, and so I went to this ashram. And I was really wondering what's going on there. I mean, I didn't understand anything of what the people were doing. There were Indian people there, Western people there, and they were doing walking around the statue of Ramana. And I watched all that. What is going on? I don't understand anything of this, and I don't have the feeling that. I had this feeling that I'm like a little child. I'm totally helpless. I have no idea. I'm an absolutely novice in this spiritual thing. And so I was just watching that and having my thinking. And then there comes this young guy, Indian man, very young, 18, 19 years. And he came from a Brahman family. You could tell right away because they wear these cords. They have naked, they wear no shirts because only the lungi, like a skirt type. But it's so warm down there in South India, you don't have any clothes on. So he had only this string, and I knew, this Brahman. And it was this young guy, and he comes straight to me, and he's strong. He's powerful. His eyes, his face, everything was very focused. And he comes to me and says, "Hey, I have to talk to you." He speaks to me in English. "I have to talk to you. Some inner voice or tells me I need to talk to you. Come with me, please." And I was in this attitude. I'm open. I'm going to listen to anyone here. You know, whatever comes, I'm going to listen. I'm just going to float. So that was my attitude. So I go with him, and he takes me to his room. He had a room near the ashram, and he told me some stuff about his life, his family, where he comes from, and he's a yoga man. That was his way. Yoga, really, he was a great yogi man, and he was telling me he will give me now some yogic secrets, and he was not bullshitting me. I could tell right away, because then he in his room he showed me some asanas. That's the different yoga positions. They are called asanas, and you could tell right away. Wow, this guy is not fooling. I mean, he's doing this intensively. I mean, you could see the tension and the power in his body, and it was amazing what he was doing. Yeah, and it was just coming out like from a pistol. Information, bang, bang, bang. Here is a nadi there. You have to, with your tongue, you have to do this and that and all this. And I was sitting there. I didn't understand anything. You know, what is he talking about? I don't know even what a nadi is, and all these energy lines in the body and stuff. And I had this feeling, wow, I get some information here, but I can't dig it. You know, I can't grab it. I don't know what he's talking about. And he also realized that. And then we came to another subject. Then he asked me for money. It was not that much money. It was like a sum that it was easily to pay for me. Something like, if we would calculate, it was something like $5 or $10 or so. Not much, you know. And he asked me for that, and he said he's just short on money, but he comes from a rich family, which I knew was true, because he's a Brahman. He's not a beggar. But right now he needs some money. So I gave him this money, because I had enough at that time. And then he tells me that he cannot really teach me. I'm not talented enough, he told me. So then I don't know why. Then we went to our hat. At that time, my friend Shanti, the lady of my life, and me, we had together a very simple hat where we were living, just one room, very simple, and we got there. And then he saw Shanti, my lady, and then he told me, or we were talking like the three of us, and after a few minutes he told me, hey man, you're not talented enough for this, you know, for this entire spiritual thing. I mean, he was reading in my hand, and he told me, hey, you're gonna be an old man, you have a long life. You have a chance to make it this life, but if you want to make it, you have to meditate every day. You know, you have to work hard on yourself, you know, and working hard on yourself, 8 to 10 hours meditation a day. I was thinking to myself, I can't do that. You know, I'm a weak man. I love life, and I'm not so much in self-organization that I can do this every day. And you know, so I was wondering, oh, probably I won't make it this life, and I'm not well enough. And he made me understand that my lady, she's talented. She has the spiritual talent. She can learn. You know, I'm only like a block of wood or something. Yeah, it was really like that. And then he went inside the hut, in this where we were living together with my woman. And they disappeared in the hut, and I was sitting outside the hut. And you all know this the state. I was feeling so small, you know. I had no self-confidence, nothing. I was sitting there with tears in my eyes, and I was looking at my life and saying, Frank, you're totally untalented for that. You have no spiritual talent. You're just a how can I say? Maybe you should work only with your body and stuff. I mean, because you're not worthy and you're not worthy for this entire stuff. So you make yourself down. You know this? Of course you know, because we humans know this. We get from time to time in this state. So I was so small and I was crying and I was also sure, okay, this was it with my lady, because obviously I'm not talented for this entire India yoga stuff. I can't do it, you know, and probably she will go with this young guy, and why not? I mean, I wish her the best because she's a good lady, but you know, I'm weak, I'm strong. That's what I was doing with myself. 10 minutes later, or 20 minutes, they come out of the hat. And I didn't know what happened in the hat. My lady, of course, told me afterwards. But this guy comes out, and all of a sudden he talks to me again. He says, "Let's go into town, into the nearby town, which is called Tiruvannamalai." By the time I can, from time to time, I can change the picture. So I've got some nice sights of the mountain there. And we go into town, and he tells me we're gonna have some beer. We're gonna drink beer. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is amazing. I mean, maybe there's still a chance. What is he coming now with beer? I mean, this guy is so strict and disciplined in his yoga path. How can he drink alcohol? I mean, alcohol is not very welcome in Hindu religion, you know. And so that was always strange. And that was the first time that I got this feeling, hey, maybe there's still a chance for me left. Because in beer drinking, I know my way. You know, I come from Bavaria. This is what I have some experience in. So maybe there's still some chance for me to get the spiritual stuff straight. If beer drinking is included, maybe, you know, maybe it's not that strict, you know. So that was amazing. This guy and me, we go to this well, you cannot call it a bar. There is no bars there. This is a holy place in India, and so alcohol is not publicly available. It's kind of like you enter some sort of Indian red light district, some half legal, you know, and at in some backyard, yeah, that's where you can have some beer. So with the money that I gave him, the exact amount of money that I gave him, we spent this money on beer. It was funny. We got maybe 2 or 3 bottles out of it, and we were drinking this beer. And while we were drinking, in this process, from minute to minute, this out of balance, that I was so low and weak and you know, hitting myself, you know, I'm not worthy anything, and there's this high yogi man, you know, with all these yogi secrets and stuff. So there was kind of a disbalance. And while we were drinking this beer and talking, in this process, this thing totally got emotion. And from minute to minute, this guy, and probably it was the alcohol, yeah? From minute to minute, this guy got more angry. He lost totally this dignity of the holy yogi man. It got more and more rubbish came out of his mouth, and I was wondering, wow, this is amazing. And he was telling some really nasty things. You know, he told me how much he hates this life, how much he hates all these monkey people around him. That was his words. He saw other human beings as monkeys because they were not spiritually evolved. It was just dirty and nasty, and it was getting worse and worse from minute to minute. It even got so far that he told me that he at one time he killed somebody. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know, you know, that from minute to minute, and with every sentence, something in my heart got stronger, because I realized, hey, I mean, what can I learn from this guy? Do I really have to learn this stuff? Because this guy is doing all this spiritual teachings and yoga and because he's escaping this world. While for me it was exactly the opposite. You know, I was jumping into the river of life. I was jumping totally into what is this energy of life, and you can find that in India. That's maybe the quality of India. That, you know, you find that everywhere, but in India it's just stronger. Everything is stronger. The beauty is more beautiful, and the dark is more dark. You know, this entire stream of life is so powerful in India, and I jumped in that. That's what I was about to do, and this guy was escaping, and I realized that. From minute to minute, and it was amazing. I mean, the more there was hatred coming out of him, hatred against this world, against the material world against life, because in the end life is matter and spirit coming together in some holy union. That's what life is. It's if you one of these sides, the spiritual or the material, if you deny one of these sides, you get out of balance. Life means you need to bring things together. And this guy was totally out of balance. He was fully in the spiritual realm, but he hated this world. And I realized that I love this world. And it was just another few minutes that we were together. And after we had no more money for our beer. We had 2 or 3 bottles. It was time to say goodbye, and I was walking on myself then back from the town to our hut, which was a little bit outside. And I tell you, on this walk was maybe an hour. Everything was just shining. I couldn't believe it. What happened? I mean, I saw everything shining. I was walking and you know all this busy street that is typical for India. You've got animals there, you've got cars and tuk-tuks and it's honking and wow, and all the sound. And there's so many people, the animals, the poor people, the children, old people sitting on the streets, beggars, holy men, businessmen, everything around. This is India, you know. This is this intense stream of life that I was talking about. For me was just shining, you know. Everything was shining and I was feeling so great, and I had so much love in me. It was just, my heart was really opening up. So wow, and out of my heart came this vibration, and in my heart came this vibration, and it all melted, and whoa, and I felt so light, because the first big burden just dropped off my shoulders, and this was the burden that I have to do anything. I have to learn this, you know. You have to. That was he was telling with his finger, you know. You have a chance in this life, but you have to work. You must. That dropped off. Hey, I don't have to do anything. This is not my way. And I tell you, I respect the yogic way. I highly respect it. Of course, I was a long time in India. I respect the yogic way. Not only in India, but also other spiritual practices, people who live in monasteries or monks, I respect. You know, I don't bother them, but I realized that this is not my way. I don't have to do that. What you have to do, the only thing you have to do, is to find out who you are yourself. That's what it's about. Self-realization. And this is exactly the quality of this mountain, of Arunachala. And this is the quality that you can feel directly yourself, but this is also a long tradition. In India, this is a special holy site. Of course, there's many in India, but in South India, this is really big for the Tamils, the people in Tamil Nadu. And this is a big people. There's more Tamils than Germans. There's like maybe 80, 90, 100 million Tamils living there. For them, this is also sort of a national site, a national heritage. This is a powerful place. It's not a secret or something, you know. This is a big place. There's pilgrims coming at certain festivities. They go in the millions. So, you know, but the quality of this mountain, and it always was, and there's ancient scriptures talking about this mountain, and it's always, the quality always is, it's a mirror, and it's mirroring you the truth about yourself, so that you can realize who you are, who yourself are, and that you can realize who you are not. And all these fake images that you have laid upon yourself, on your own, or that come by society, by education, you know, you're born this, and from childhood on you learn certain ways, this is right, this is wrong, and all this, and also the illusions that you create yourself. I want to be that, I want to appear as this nice guy and stuff, you know, and this all goes away. The quality of the mountain is fire. And the Indians call it Agni. They say this is an Agni lingam. It's a living fire. And the energy of this fire is like, it's like for some smith. You know, if you're working with metal, you have to get high temperature. And the higher the temperatures and the better the Smithsonian is, and he's working on that, the more pure the metal gets. And this is what's happening there. The mountain, the fire of this mountain is burning everything away which is not really yourself. And by that, it strengthens what is really yourself. This is strengthened, and everything else, everything that is illusional, you know, everything that is not truly yourself, is just burned away. So you're getting like a sword, you're getting sharper, and this is also a process. This is nothing that happens from one moment to the other. It's a process. This is the quality of the mountain. It's a fire. It's a fireplace. And it's like with fire, if I use that metaphor, well, if you walk around in the dark at some night, you're outside, somewhere in the wilderness, you walk around, you lost your way, you're cold, maybe you're wet, and you don't know your way, you totally lost orientation. Then you see a fire at night. What do? Of course, you're going to go there. And you have a sit on the fire, warm yourself a little bit. But then it's also up to you. Do you let the fire warm yourself? Or do you have like many layers of sheets and blanks and around you? Then it takes some time until the energy of the fire reaches your body, because you have some layers in between. But for me, at that time of my life, I was naked. So I felt it instantly. This is the fire warms you instantly if you're open to it. If you're really frozen, then kick away your blankets. Let the fire warm you. So that's the reason why for some people, of course, many people go there, and not everybody's telling the same stuff like I am. Why is that? Because some people go there and they have still thick layers. The fire is working on them, but of course there's still possibilities to resist. And I also met many people who stay there only a few days, and they instantly they feel, their ego feels, oh, hey, this is hot stuff here. Man, if ego wants to keep control over the man, you better leave this place, because this place is crushing your ego. Everything that is not really yourself is crushed. That's the quality of the mountain. This is what is happening there. Now, the Indians also tell interesting stories. There's many. This is old stuff, as I tell you. And of course, for many centuries, this was not well known outside of India. Even in India, it was known in the south of India, but in the north, even most people have never heard about this place. India is such a big land, and this was also in the wilderness. There's jungle around, tigers running around, and it's actually only like within the last, I would say 70, 80 years that this mountain comes into the consciousness of humanity on a bigger scale. Nowadays, there's many people going to this place. This is not a secret. I tell you, if you're interested in that, and if what I tell you is striking some resonance in you, of course you will look it up, and then you will see there's many stories about Arunachala, and many pictures and many devotees and stuff. But of course, everyone tells maybe a different story. But stories. Well, the Indians also have metaphors that are describing this place and describing this energy there. And one of the basic stories about what is Arunachala, and it's a metaphor. I'm not a Hindu. You never become a Hindu. I'm a man, a human being, and I'm talking about myself. But of course, this is in India. There's connections to the Indian culture, for sure. The mountain itself is nature. It's not Hindu. But the ambience, of course, is Hindu. So it's a Hindu story, or it's a story coming out of this context. But it's so obviously what this quality is. That's what is shown. And the story goes that at one time, long ago, there was the two most powerful gods in India. They were fighting, and these gods were Brahma and Vishnu, and they were fighting over the question, who is the number one god? Who should be the number one? And Brahma was arguing, saying, hey, I'm the creator of the universe. It's me, it's number one. And Vishnu said, no, I'm number one, because you created a universe, but it's a dead universe. It's not floating, no motion in there. And it is Vishnu who brings the energy in the universe, so that everything is moving and coming and going. Otherwise, it would be just a stare. Yeah? So they were fighting over this question. And when two gods fight, of course, for everybody else, it is not a very peaceful environment. They were fighting all the time, but since they were both gods, not one was stronger than the other. No one could win this fight, or no one would lose it. But it was just disharmony for everybody else. And so then the story goes that the Devas, which are like, you could say the holy people, also holy men meditating, and they felt this, this bad vibration all the time. So at one point they were calling out for Shiva. Now Shiva is also, when you look it up, you get, oh, Shiva, isn't that the god of destruction and stuff? Well, it is in the northern Indian pantheon. They've got all these narratives about gods. But in South India, Shiva, or in South India, they call it actually Siva. Siva or Shiva is the same thing. In South India, Shiva, Siva, is not some aspect of divine life, but Shiva's the soul of the universe. That's what, from this perspective, Shiva's the soul of the universe. So it's everything. It's when you have a yin and yang, it's the white and it's the black and it's also the line around. You know, everything is Shiva. It's the prime source, the prime energy. And this energy then has different aspects that it shows itself. But the energy, the soul or the self of the universe, this is what is Shiva in this South Indian view. So you have to understand that to understand the metaphor of the story. So the Devas were calling for Shiva. Hey, Shiva, please, you have to do something because we cannot live in peace here anymore. And Shiva, who was also, you know, in deep meditation, also felt this vibration and said, okay, I guess it's time to give these two guys a lecture, give them a lesson, you know. And so right at the place where these two gods were fighting, Shiva appeared. And Shiva appeared as a column of light. A column of light that has no beginning and no ending. No ground and no top. A column of light, infinity. Wow. And it appeared just right where they were fighting. So they stopped their fight and, wow, what is that? Look at that, amazing. And then one of the two got the idea, hey, now we can find out who's the strongest of us and who's the number one. One of us is gonna find the bottom and one of us is gonna look for the top. And either one of us who's successful in this quest has proven that he's superior. Well, good idea. Vishnu, he turned himself into a boar and he started digging in the earth, you know, with his deeper and deeper and digging in the earth, in the material world to find out where is the beginning of this column of light. Of course, you understand, the column of light is a symbol of life. It has no beginning, no ending. Life, this energy is infinity. Wow, so you can dig quite a while. Where do you find the beginning of infinity? But Vishnu was in this illusion, he could find it. Yes, I'm a god, I'm strong, I will find it. So he was like a boar and digging. Years, decades, aeons of years. And the other god, Brahma, he turned himself into a swan and he was spreading his wings and circling around, you know, this column of light. Higher and higher, higher and higher, to find out where's the top of this infinity column. Of course, now you know this is a task that you cannot reach. So this goes on, and for eons, and there came the moment that Vishnu, the one who was digging as a boar in the ground, that he realized, I can't do it. It takes some time, but even a god can become tired and exhausted. And he was exhausted, he couldn't do it anymore. And in this moment he realized, oh man, what a fool I am. Now in this moment of exhaustion he realized, I cannot find the bottom of this column, because this is infinity. Understanding infinity. How mad was I that I thought that I could place myself superior upon of this energy. So he realized that and realized, oh, this is the soul, this is Shiva, whatever you call it, this is this big energy. I was mad, and he stopped and went back to the earth. Now for Brahma, as a swan, it was a similar thing. He also got tired, exhausted, he didn't know anything more to do. But he still was not able he was still not on this point to say, yes, I failed, now I understand, you know, this is not, he was still driven. But this Vishnu, I need to prove him I'm better, still. And while he was in this state, all of a sudden down comes a little flower, just floating down, coming from above. And he grabs this flower, and he's got this idea: with this flower, I'm gonna prove Vishnu that I'm the superior one, because this flower I'm gonna take as proof. I took this flower from the top of the column, and the flower, which is just a flower, a weak but beautiful but not willful being that could resist a god. The flower said, "Okay, yes, I will say you got me from the top of the column." So. They meet at Earth. Vishnu, he learned his lesson, but Brahma is triumphantly coming. Here, Vishnu, look at this flower. I brought you this from the top of this mountain, of this pillar of light. Do you see now that I'm number one? But Vishnu knew that this could be only a lie, because Vishnu realized, hey, this is infinity, so he could never have been up on top. And wherever this flower comes from, this is not from the top. So they just wanted to start fighting again. And in this moment, the column of light is disappearing, and Shiva stands in person next to them, looking at them. Hey. And at that moment, even Vishnu also already, he bows down and, hey, Lord Shiva. Yeah. And at this moment, also Brahma realizes, oh, shit, I'm in trouble now. And he also bows down and, hey, well, sorry, how could I be that mad? And then Shiva talks to them. And then Shiva gives this promise. And Shiva talks to them and he says, hey, Vishnu, you were on an ego trip. You thought you were number one, but you forgot that in infinity of life, there's never something like a number one. You know, this is it's infinity. But you realized it at your own. It took you quite some time and a lot of effort, but you realized it. So I'm gonna let you go now, and you will still be a big god in India, and you will have many devotees and temples and worship, and that's it. Indeed, Vishnu is big in India. Krishna is an incarnation of Vishnu. This is all Vishnu cult. It's big in India, it's huge. And then he spoke to Brahma, and he told him, Brahma, now that you see me eye and eye, now you realize that you were wrong. And you realize that you were ego-driven. You thought you were over something. Yeah? Now that you see me, you realize that you were wrong. But you didn't get to this point on yourself. In opposite, you even took this little flower into your smeary campaign, you know, and manipulated this flower. So you will have to pay the price for this. And of course, nothing is forever besides this column of light. But for the next, well, in India they always talk about these big time circles. For the next thousands or tens of thousands of years, you will have not many devotees in India. You will have only one temple in all of India that is built for you. And this is indeed true. That's amazing. I mean, Brahma is the creator of the universe. But in all of India nowadays, there's only one place where they worship Brahma. And that's also a powerful place. I've been there. It's a place called Pushkar in Rajasthan, in the northwest of India. Very interesting place. But this will be for your only place for Brahma in all of India. But also not forever. You know, sooner or later you will get back to your place. Yeah, and then Vishnu says to Shiva, okay, well, that's fine. We can deal with that. We settled our conflict here. But Shiva, your entire game of this life, of life is too difficult, isn't it? I mean, this ego is a trap. If even we, as gods, as divine beings, if even we fall into the trap of the ego, that we think we are something, you know, and we position ourselves over this energy of life, over this soul of infinity. If we as gods fall into that trap, well, what about the people like human beings? I mean, how can they ever understand that? They have only like these few decades, or maybe, of course, if you think in reincarnations. But still, compared to a god, I mean, you're nothing. You know, I mean, how can these simple beings, how can they ever understand your game? This is too difficult. The illusion's too big. You know, I mean, this ego thing is we all fall into it, and then we're in trouble. Then we're in disharmony. And then Shiva gave a promise in the story. Then the promise of Shiva was, wherever there's life in universe, there will be one place where I am. Not a place where I'm like to be worshipped, because of course there's many places, but there's one place where I am. And this place is then Arunachala. So the column of light turned into a mountain. And then of course there's stories about the different ages. Nowadays we live in the Kali Yuga, the dark ages. Now it's a mountain of rock. In the golden ages it was a mountain of pure light. And at other times it was a mountain of some precious stone or so. It became then an iron mountain. And nowadays in the Kali Yuga it's a rock. It's granite rock. Well, that's the place. So what this is for what the story also tells, what you can experience. This is Shiva. This is not a place for Shiva. This is Shiva. This is not the place where Shiva is living, but this is this energy. And now if you understand what Shiva means in the southern Indian context, it's the soul of the universe. So this is the prime life force. This is this a special place. This is the quality, the energy of this place. And because, and then Shiva also said, so whoever comes to this place, wherever you come from, whatever history you have, whatever, in India they say, whatever karma you have, whatever you've done before in your life, did you do a rightful living or were you a criminal? Did you do lots of pujas and celebrations and good yoga, or were you just eating, drinking, you know, and horning around? It doesn't matter. Whoever comes to this place will have direct contact with me. This is the promise of Shiva. Of course, not everybody can deal with it. I told you, some people, this is too heavy. You know, if you're too much in your illusion, you don't want that illusion false, then you better get out of this land. You know, this is the place, the mountain, and then also the land around. If you take this as a center and you make a circle, in India, say it's I guess it was something like 20 miles. This is the land with this energy. So it's also, you don't have to directly touch mountains. This is the energy field, the mountain and a circle of 20 miles or something. Yeah? So if you don't want to have this mirror, you have to get out of there, because it might make you throw you around. And I tell you, of course I spent there so much time. I could tell you all night long. I could tell you stories, amazing stories, fun stories, crazy stories. And it's not every day just, smiley, you know, we also in spiritual. Oh man, I tell you, sometimes it's days where you're so low, where you feel like suffering because it's, you still hold on certain things, on certain illusions. Some of the illusions that we have, they are well loved by us. But the mountain doesn't care. The mountain is pure. This is the soul of the universe. And the soul of the universe, if you're in direct contact with this, the soul of the universe only accepts the purity of your soul. So all this bullshit that comes from the ego is just burning away there. And this is what's happening there. Now, let's see the word soul, the soul of the universe. It's in many languages. We have a word like this, soul. In French there's seul. Seul is then we would retranslate it into English like the self. But there you hear it, self, soul, this is connected with each other. In German we have the words Seele. Seele is the soul, and the Selbst is the self. So this is all talking about the same stuff. And this is what it's all about, and this is the main cue in life. This is the art of living, is becoming your soul, being your soul. I mean, you don't have to become it because you are that, but getting out of the illusion that you're something else. Purity, becoming who you are. Self-inquiry, finding out who you are and then being who you are. This is the quality of the mountain. This is the basic teaching. And the great thing is, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what cultural background you have. Of course, nowadays this stands in India and it's embedded in the Indian culture. But the mountain is no Hindu. You can come there as a Christian, as a Muslim. As a matter of fact, there's quite a few Muslims living in this area as well. And for them, this is also a powerful structure. You know, I don't know how they can integrate that in their belief. But, you know, this is a place for it's a a place for all humans. It's not only India. You never become a Hindu. I'm not a Hindu. Of course, when I was in India, I adapted lots of Hindu lifestyle, and it was a great time, man. But I never became a Hindu. I always, I am what I am. This is what it's about. Becoming who you are. Getting direct contact to yourself. And because this is then also the great thing. Once you're ignited in the spirit, this is a fire, and once you get in contact to a fire, with one fire I can make contact, and then the candle is shining. So once for me it was like that. I tell you, this is very personal, I tell you today, but still it's also for everybody else, because it's nature. It's nature, it's not my mind. This is a piece of nature, and this is the energy of this. But it's a mirror, and it's my story that I present you today. Once this light in yourself is ignited, and it was always there, it was not turned off, and it was not that the mountain is creating you, the mountain is setting free what is in you. The light was always there, but it was maybe very, very low light, and you don't trust it, and you see truth, or you look for truth everywhere outside, in these books, and teacher there, and make a yoga course there, and learn this method and that, but by all the time the light is right in you. And so the idea is that the mountain and the heart, this is what we talk about, the heart. The heart is the center of the man, not the spirit. Of course, the spirit is super important, I'm also a spiritual man. This is where the spirit is, all these fine nerve systems and stuff. But if you look at the human body, in the lower chakras, this is where the earthly stuff is. Sexuality, digestion, food and all that. That is low energy. That is material world is at the bottom of the human body, and the spiritual world is up there. We have all the nerves and. But where's the center of man? It's here. It's right here where the heart is. This is where these two unite. And this is where also life is. Life on earth as a human being is the great art that we need is to unite these things, unite spirit and body, bring that in balance, and this is life. So the mountain is just a mirror of what is happening inside of you. This column of light is inside of you. That's what it is. If you dig deep inside, if you turn so around, you don't look out anymore, but you kind of focus now inside. You're becoming a nautic of the psyche, not a cosmonautic, or an astronautic searching truth somewhere in the stars. No, you become a psychonautic. You jump in your own psyche. And there you discover, wow, infinity. Infinity. There's this column of light right in you, in your heart. That's where it is. And then it's a connection to all these other things. You're connected to this mountain, and then by that you realize you're connected to other human beings and living beings. That's what I was feeling on this very first day that I told you. So, wow, I felt all of a sudden, I felt the connection. Really feeling that, this being is alive, I'm alive, and in my heart there's a connection with it. And we are all embedded in this infinity, in this creative infinity. Life is always creating itself new. It's not repeating itself, but it's the same energy. And as a matter of fact, this is also what the name Arunachala is also interesting. Man, there's so much stuff I could tell you, but I just take an hour, I could tell so much more. But let me explain you the word Arunachala. This entire language of Sanskrit, it's not, you cannot translate it into our modern languages one-to-one, because this is a phonetic language. It's got different values, different layers of quality. But we kind of translate Arunachala as Arun is the light of the east. The earliest morning light. It's also interesting because it's what in our Western culture is the morning star. It's also to do with that. So it's the first ray of light after darkness when the light comes. This first ray of the sun. And also the mountain the color is mostly it's this reddish granite. So it's also this Arun, the light of the morning star, the light of the morning sun. This is Arun, and so light and Achala A is a negation. Chala means you can move it. So achala, you cannot move it. It means exactly where the light, the morning light, is anchored and unmovable. It's always there. It's always there. I mean, everything else can change. Material is changing. Life is changing. But this thing is always there. It's the infinite column of light. You have this outside at this place, and you have it inside in human beings. And this is what we get to learn. So this is always there. I mean, other things come and go. Mode is coming and going. Moral, codes of law, laws, states, empires come and go. But there's something that is always there. And this is this energy, this column of light. So when you get connection within yourself, with this energy, man, I tell you, then you get connection with the infinity. And now, once you're you have realized that, not as an intellectual understanding. Now when I tell you this thing, you might dig it or not, but you have to experience on your own. And you don't even have to travel to this place. That's why I tell you about it, that you don't even have to travel. It's just, I mean, just understanding this, that there is this infinity within yourself. That's what we call the self, what we call the soul. And if you make connection with it, you can feel it on your own. And that's what you better gonna do. Once you have established this connection within yourself, it's not that you're enlightened in a way that you know everything and you understand everything, but you get light. This is exactly what happened to me, because remember, I started out, I was at this point of light, of my life, where these questions were so heavy burdens on me. What is the sense of life? What is my mission on earth? What do I have to do here? You know, in this monkey land, like this yogis, what am I doing here? But also my heart was full of love and hey, I want to understand, why am I here? All these questions, they were like a load. Now, when you establish contact with infinity, once you look into infinity, it's not that you get all the answers to these questions, but they are no more a load. Because you don't have to make up your mind from morning till night, oh, what's the use of this and that. Hey, when you look into infinity, you can ease yourself. Because hey, I mean, how much can you know within infinity? Even if your entire life, if I would have followed this yogi, you have to learn this. Even if I do this all my life, I learn, like, you know, how much do I know from infinity? You understand, that's it. And that does not mean that I don't do anything anymore. Hey, I'm a spiritual man, and I'm also a man of, I'm interested in all kinds of stuff, and I read, and you know, I do all that, but I have no more pressure to do it. I'm not looking anymore for some truth. I know truth is in myself. And it's just my nature. That's why I'm doing this. It's my nature. This is my nature. Why I am like this, I don't even know. But this is my nature. I'm quite good at it, at understanding certain things and then talking about it. This is what I'm doing. You know, I'm just following my nature. This is why I'm doing it. I'm not doing all this information because I have this feeling. There's some certain information. And if you know this, wow, you can get your soul on the safe side, so to say. No, you just let go, because within infinity you can become like a child, and this is the art of living. That you're like a child. You're out there and you're astounding, and when you're floating in this vibration, you're no more. Don't suffer of this burden of these questions, but you know, okay, I don't know, so what? But other things I learn. You know, I'm a free spirit now. This is what it's all about. Yeah, so this is the main teaching of this mountain is be yourself, find yourself. That's what it's all about, and it's just happening if you connect yourself with this energy. It's just happening. It doesn't matter what you do there. I mean, really, if you ask me, well, the most of the time, 1 year I spent there. What do you do all day? What do you do all day? Well, I learned music. I was reading books, I was walking around, and I spent lots of time at some very simple chai shop, you know, just with the very poorest people. I was hanging out there. Because, well, you don't have to do anything to let the mountain work on you, because it's just nature. It's an energy field. I mean, you just go in this energy field, and of course you can meditate all day long, or you can play backgammon. It doesn't matter. You're next to this fire, and the fire is working on you, if you want it or not. I welcomed it, and wow, it helped me quite a lot. Yeah, hey people, I could tell you so much more, but let me just get through some more impressions of the mountain. Just it's just the nature is also that beautiful there, but also the people there. As the mountain is sort of the center, the main ritual with the mountain is to walk around it, is to walk to circumstrate it. And there's a road going around the mountain, and also an inner path that you can only walk by feet, but also a road just with cars going, you know. This road is about 15 kilometers, maybe 10 miles or something, and you can walk there. And this is what people call pradakshina, so it's encircling this. And they do it all, typically in India, all barefoot. And I tell you, it's every day people are coming. And at certain holy festivals, there's millions of people coming. And the amazing thing is when they make pradakshina, this ritual, it doesn't matter anymore where you come from. Do you come from a rich family, or are you an untouchable, low caste? There's politicians running there, walking this path next to the beggar. It doesn't matter anymore. This is powerful, and it's amazing. This is also what these people in South India have is bhakti. They call it bhakti, which is just this opening up to the divine. And you don't have to understand everything, yeah, but just opening up and being something, I guess we would call it pious. Devotion is just so big in South India. This is from the very simple people. You can learn so much. That's amazing. And I was also never somebody who was spent so much time within the temples. I mean, the temples are also powerful. I might tell you more about some Indian temples. It's incredible stuff. But for me myself, I was never too much involved into ashrams. I was not too much involved into temples, because also there the Brahmins, this priest caste. I'm critical about that, and also there's a lot to do with power. I never had to do anything with that. I'm even now and in my entire life, I was never in any religious group or so. I have not to do with this. I was living more a wild life, directly on the streets or in the wilderness, and I never spent much time in temples or ashrams, or was participating in things like that. But I was always connected to the people, to these. That's it. This is when I see this, I feel love to them. I feel connected with them. This is simple people. Yeah, and also there's so many smaller power places within this high energy region. There's powerful small spots. This, by the way, well, I'm because out of lack of time, I can't tell you the whole story. But this is part of the biggest ritual they have there once in a year. It's called Deepen, and there's coming millions of pilgrims from all of South India. They come there, and they all bring ghee with them. Ghee is a sort of a butter without water, so treated butter, butter fat, and it's pure fat oil. And they bring this as devotion, and it's all gonna be put in this big ton. And there's a human being, so this is bigger than a man. And all the ghee is there. And then at the right time, when Deepen festival is, and it's always connected with the full moon. Full moon is very important there. At the full moon, at the month of Kartigai, which is the first month. Kartigai means Pleiades. Interesting, isn't it? Pleiades in our language. So when the Pleiades are seen the first time in the year, this is at South India, it's in November, December. This month they call the Pleiades. And when you have the first time the Pleiades above the horizon, and then the first full moon, well, this is their biggest festival, the Deepen. And then at the moment that sun sets and the moon is there, then they enlight this flame. I tell you, it's like, this energy is amazing. And you see then from miles away, you see this light on top of the mountain. Again, it's this symbol, this metaphor. That's the way it's looking like then. Of course, the temple there, which is shining, this is huge. It's one of the biggest Shiva temples in India, and amazing stories also about that. Here, one time I want to at least present you. I mentioned the man. This is Ramana Maharishi. He's one of the great mystics of India of 20th century, and he's a great man, and he's one with the mountain. You know, I'm not a devotee now of Ramana. I could not say this is, but I have, of course, highest respect of him. And for many people, it's just important to have a human face, a human, to get an approach to stuff like this. Now, I tell you about this mountain. For many people, it's too abstract. A mountain, a piece of rock, really? But if you look at these eyes, if you check the infinity of this vibration that is so greatly captured in this picture here, for many people this helps them to get an approach to this entire thing. And of course he became a great guru, and many of devotees still has. I mean, he died in the 50s, 1950s, and still is so big in Tiruvannamalai and still present. This is also the thing. I mean, this energy is still present of Ramana Maharishi, and well, he's kind of the face of the mountain, because so many people look at him because they need this human voice, this human guru. But he himself, his entire life, he pointed to the mountain and said, "Hey, man, it's the mountain. It's just this energy, you know." He himself was always pointing in the mountain. But many of us human beings, for us, it's easier if we have a human face of this entire thing. So, but for me, it does make a difference. So if I see Ramana or talk about Ramana, it's the same like Arunachala. It's the same thing, the same energy, you know. But of course, he's not the only one. There's always many sages and wild guys like this. Also a great guru of 20th century. Some of them are really still wild guys. You know, there's sadhus coming there from pilgrims from all over India, like this one coming from I don't know where, wild sadhu, and they're also there. And I tell you, because Arunachala is a piece of rock, it's a hill, it's a mountain. This is nature, what we're talking about. And nature has the spirit, this power, and there's so many of these small spots all around the mountain. There's many temples, the big ones, of course, but also many small shrines. And some of these shrines are directly connected to nature, like this here. What we see here, this is from termites. You know, these little insects. They're building this construction, and for the South Indians, these termites. These constructions, they are holy sites. They're holy sites for the goddess then again. This is the female side. I tell you, Shiva, Arunachala, this is the whole thing. It's the soul of the universe. It's the yin and the yang. So of course you have also these female qualities there. You know, this is not like in our Western religions, only this male religion. This is also female. Both is there. And it's directly earth, it's nature. Wow, and I tell you, these places are sometimes so powerful just to hang out there and to be there. Here another one of those little termite shrines that are just at the side of the road, and there's so many of them. At least one big picture of the great Shiva temple. This picture is taken from the hill, probably not on top, but halfway up the top. You can look down and make this picture, and you just see this is Tiruvannamalai, the city, and this is the great Shiva temple there. It's old, it's big, and it's still growing. This is also interesting in India. This is a living thing. This is not a museum, you know. While this is old stuff, back there they're still making the temple bigger. Still, you know, with handworks and working with rock cutters and stuff. They're still building this. This is also, that's amazing in India. That's still so alive, you know. Yeah, one more of these impressions, and yeah, we're already running short of time because I don't want to make it this big. I hope you can do something with this information. I tell you, you don't have to travel there. Obviously, I mean, this is not possible for everybody, so there is nothing in this world that you have to do, and if you don't do it, then you don't reach the goal. Nothing like this. So there's also not, you have to go to this mountain. Obviously, it's not possible for How many people do we have on Earth? 6 billion now? Oh, obviously not everybody can go there. You know, some can. Some are maybe even called. And for me, that's what I feel. It's like a privilege. It's a special grace. I'm so thankful that I had this chance to do it. And the only thing that I really did is the only thing that I can say, well done, Frank, is that I had the courage to do it. You know, I heard the call and I said, okay, I'm gonna go for it. No more bullshitting. Either life carries me or I will drown. I don't mess around anymore. So that is the only thing that I can say. That was me. I was courage, strong enough to do it. But then everything else, you know, is just this flow, you know. And so not everybody has to go there. I feel like it's a special privilege, a special gift for me that I had this chance. But that's also why I share it with you. So that not everybody has to go there. I mean, listen to the call. Some of you maybe don't get a lot of out of this episode, but others, I know because I experience that so often. Others, they between the lines, you know, they dig this vibration. There's some resonance in your heart, and that's enough. You don't have then to go there. You have to realize, wow, what life is about. What is this big mirror? And realize that Arunachala, this column of light, this infinite column of light, is in your own heart. You know, it's within you. So you don't have to travel physically to this place. It's not necessary. And hey, poor Indians, I mean, they already suffer all these crazy Westerners looking for some truth. Well, it's good business as well for Indians. But obviously, I mean, we cannot all go there. So I only tell you this to inspire you. Check out for Arunachala and find your own, you know. And this is a mirror by when our mind, and this is also what Ramana was saying and so many others, just by thinking of Arunachala, when I talk to you, listen, our mind is in that direction. Even this is already starting this process of the fire warming you see? And this is really true. Because, hey, I'm talking, when I was there, that is already a long time ago, 20 years or so, nearly. Not yet, but yeah, 20 years. And I tell you, there's not one day in my life, not one day since, that I was not at least once a day thinking of Arunachala, having this connection, feeling it every day. I don't have to go there anymore physically. I don't have to live there. I had the grace of that I did live there. But and indeed, that's why I'm back here. That's why I'm doing these things. Because I told you at the very beginning, this is today the most important stuff for me. This is my mojo. When I was there, I mean, I could have stayed there. You know, I was wow. I got what I needed. You know, I went there, carry me, and life carried me. Wow, I'm fine. You know, I could have done anything. You know, why did I come back to Germany? Why am I doing this stuff now? Is yeah, because that's what I really felt. Wow, I got this special grace that somehow by luck, because it was nothing special in me. I told you, I'm not highly spiritually advanced, talented. I'm a man like you and me. You know, this is, like I told you in the beginning. But I did make this experience, and now I share it. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, get this spirit of life. It's in yourself. Find yourself. Check out yourself. Discover yourself. This is also what an old Indian traveler saying: discover India, discover yourself. You don't go there as a Hindu. I don't know where you are right now and what your mindset is, what your tradition is. It doesn't matter. I'm not a missionary and telling you, oh, you have to do this. This is a piece of nature. This is, you know, you don't have to become a Hindu. You don't have to even to go there. Realize it in yourself. Look at yourself. Become yourself. Be yourself. This is the only two golden rules we have. And actually it's one rule, but it comes as two. The first is discover yourself. Look inside and discover. And the second is be yourself. That what you discover, that be. Let it out. Don't be someone else. Don't be what you're taught, but discover yourself and be yourself. Because then, and this I'm going to finish soon, but when human beings are just what they are, we have this great diversity because we have many different qualities within human life. And if if a human being is just, if you are who you are, then we create also harmony. Because then we can live together. Right now, we're in this state of confusion. Like in Shakespeare, in this Midsummer Night Dream, we're all lost. Nobody knows who he is. Everybody's wearing a mask. You don't know who yourself are. You don't know who the others are. They're all behind masks. Nobody's on the right place. It's total confusion. This is where we are right now. Now, how can we dissolve this? If you realize who you are, and then be who you are, and then by that you get the right place in society, in community, and then we have. In an ideal world, and it's so simple, you don't have to learn anything that is not you. You just have to be yourself. And once human beings are themselves, wow, we got harmony. We've got the right people. We've got people who can make beautiful art and music. We've got people who have healing powers in their hands. We've got people who have creative power in their hands and can construct shelter and any sorts of living that make life easier. You know? Then we get harmony. We get harmony, and we've got for everyone, we've got the right quality, and then you give, and then you receive. You give and take, you know, and everything. That's harmony. This is not an illusion. To be in harmony is a natural state. Where we are right now, this is the illusion. Right now, we're not in the natural state, or we're out of balance. We're wearing masks. We don't discover each other because we don't know even who we self are. This is the ball of confusion, as the Temptations called it. It's the ball of confusion. Same like Shakespeare's Midsummer Night story. Same thing. Now, this is the message from Arunachala: be yourself. And it's not only the message of Arunachala, because this is the main message of that any great teachers in whatever cultural background gives. Be yourself. This is the same like in Delphi, another one of these power places in Greece, Delphi. And at the remaining ruins there's this Greek writing, and it says, discover yourself and be yourself. This is what it's all about, you know. Okay, well, I still would have more pictures, and there's much more I could tell you, and maybe I will. But for now, I'm going to leave it. So, it's not that I'm here above and I give you a little of my light. This is like in all these hierarchical religions. It's that way. Hey, you as a simple man, you have no connection to God, but there's always a priest, and he's connecting, speaking with God, and he tells you what God wants. With this is a shortcut. You know, you don't need any priest, and I'm not a priest for you. I'm not a guru for you, because it's not that I give you something from my energy. No, we have the same energy. In you and in me is the same energy, and of course, energy is interacting with each other. And of course, like the mountain was setting my energy free, and still this is a process. It can be much more free even. That's the way we're dealing with each other. It's not that, you know, I give you something from me because I'm so big. No. This would be again then this ego trap. Yeah? No, it's the same energy. That's realizing. You realize it in yourself, and once you have this connection, wow, you feel it in your vis-a-vis as well. This is what just to see that we're talking about some universal principles here. This is what in Rastafari they say, I and I. You know, this respect. That means respect means see, again, you see yourself in the other man. If I look now in this camera, I get some respect even from you. Even this works. You know, this is the same energy. It's not that I'm some priest or that I have something and because I'm so nice I give it to you. It might even make you pay for it. No, we are the same energy. That's what I'm talking about. This is this life energy, this whatever you will call it. Well, in South India they call it Shiva, but you can give it any name. I mean, it doesn't matter, because what it matters is that you feel it, and it's in you. And it's in every human being. This is the great thing, you know. This is not only in some beings or someone has. If you have certain knowledge or certain techniques of yoga, then you get it. No, as long as you're living, well, this is what life is all about. This energy. So realize this energy, live with it, and realize yourself. Become yourself. Become this aspect of nature, of life that you are, and you don't have to be someone else. And if you discover yourself and you live by that means, I'm tell you, you're gonna attract harmony in your life, and no more of these burdens. You can be light and enjoy the here and now, because that's it. Everything else doesn't matter. It's just the here and now, and this is what the story is about. So I hope you got some inspiration out of that, and that would make me happy. Feel free to comment. Give us some resonance, and we would be happy if you would also support us in any way. Spread this channel, spread this news, make it available for others, and any support is welcome. Well, in that sense, enough said today. There's still much more to come, and thanks for listening, for watching, and thanks for sharing. Have a good time. Bye.